Welcome back to another edition of Viper Bites. And yes, you guessed it, an emergency podcast as we have yet another trade in the National Football League. And this time, the dog pound is howling in Cleveland as the Browns are trading 3 first-round draft picks and 2 additional picks that could be a 3rd and a 4th-round pick to the Texans per Ari Meirov. Now, what does this all mean when we take a look at the landscape here? Only one other time that I can recall in NFL history has a player been traded for 3 first-round draft picks, and that kind of issued in the dawn of the Dallas Cowboys dynasty there back in the early 90s when Herschel Walker was traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, that was all when Jimmy Johnson, he had that whole trade value chart, and now all the teams in the National Football League are using it. I don't know what the Cleveland Browns are thinking about when it comes to DeShaun Watson here. But it gets even crazier than just that draft capital that he gave up. They also inked DeShaun Watson to a fully guaranteed 5-year contract, paying him $230 million. Guaranteed money. At signing was $150, $230 million guaranteed. That is absolutely insane. That is a lot of money in guaranteed dollars here for a quarterback who is still facing some legal concerns and possible NFL suspensions. The legal situation for DeShaun Watson is not settled. You can go back to what we've seen there last week. That's fine. That's whatever. We have 22 civil lawsuits pending right now on DeShaun Watson. 22. Let that sink in. And yet, the Cleveland Browns are extending him before the extension he signed in September of 2020 has even started. I'm not sure what is worse right now or who looks worse right now, the Cleveland Browns or the National Football League with this whole DeShaun Watson situation. I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. Now, how does Watson and the Cleveland Browns, for that matter, address this off-field stuff? How do all parties address the allegations, and how can we move forward without alienating some fans? I guarantee you right now, there are some serious fans being alienated. Sure, there's some fans that may say, you know what, DeShaun Watson as a football player, fantastic fit for the Cleveland Browns organization. Then there's some that are saying on a moral ground here, this is not right. This guy should not be in the National Football League based on A, B, and C. I'm not going to get quite into that, but there is going to be a backlash, and rightfully so. I've talked to several Cleveland Browns fans that want to get rid of their fandom when it comes to the Browns organization because of this move specifically. And it's not just the Cleveland Browns. We had the Atlanta Falcons. We had the New Orleans Saints. We had the Carolina Panthers, the Seattle Seahawks. These were all teams vying for DeShaun Watson. And the Cleveland Browns were rejected. And instead of taking no for an answer, they threw themselves at DeShaun Watson's feet one more time, begging him, grabbing him by the ankles until he said yes as he signed that huge $230 million guaranteed will make you say yes to a lot of things. And here's the worst part about it all. Just a week ago, we seen Watson and his team celebrating everything on social media. Is it too much for me to say that the Browns literally sold their soul for Watson? But you know what? Let's leave all this other stuff, this off-field stuff, for another show, another day. Let's get on to the football field here. Let's talk about what Watson does for fantasy and what he does for this Cleveland Browns organization. Now, last time we saw DeShaun Watson play, he went 382 of 544 passes. He threw for 4,823 yards, 33 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. In Watson's career, and he's played with some bad teams, he is 28-25. He's thrown for 14,539 yards, 104 passing touchdowns to only 36 interceptions. We know how the NFL works. We know for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. And we know Baker Mayfield, he wasn't happy hearing about DeShaun Watson possibly coming to Cleveland. And now that Watson is there, you can bet your bottom dollar he's probably looking for Progressive or another insurance company to kind of move and take his talents elsewhere. Maybe move into a new stadium. Indianapolis comes to mind. Seattle comes to my mind. Possibly even New Orleans. Who knows? I don't know if Baker Mayfield is an upgrade on Sam Darnold. I definitely know he's not an upgrade on Matt Ryan. So I don't know if Carolina and or Atlanta are options at this time. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Now, the 26-year-old former Texans quarterback, as far as football goes, and assuming he returns to form after being out of the league for a year, he is a difference maker. He made some bad Texans teams look much better than they actually were, especially with the help of DeAndre Hopkins. Now, let's take a look at what he had to work with. Back in DeShaun Watson's top wide receiver since 2018. In 2018, Hopkins, wide receiver 2 for fantasy. 2019, Hopkins, wide receiver 5 for fantasy. In 2020, he supported both Brandon Cooks as a wide receiver 15, and Will Fuller was a wide receiver 28 while playing only 11 games. Now he gets a little bit of Amari Cooper, a little bit of Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz, David Njoku, Harrison Bryant, and the list of the Browns pass catchers kind of goes on and stop. Actually, you know what? It stops right there. Let's be honest. Unless, and here's a big unless, Will Fuller, whose name is attached to DeShaun Watson, his name has been attached to the Cleveland Browns as a possible candidate moving into that offense with the Browns next year. It hasn't happened as of this recording, but it's not to say that Will Fuller does not have a reunion with DeShaun Watson here in the very near future. But let's talk about the Texans. Let's talk about the Browns and the history of DeShaun Watson between the two teams. Back in 2017, the Texans actually traded up with the Browns to 12th overall to select DeShaun Watson. I guess you could say life is now coming full circle when it comes to Watson and the Browns. Now, the Browns, they added, I mentioned Amari Cooper a little bit early. He is their version of DeAndre Hopkins in this offense. It only cost them a fifth to send to Dallas to get Amari Cooper. That move also had repercussions. Remember, I said every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Jarvis Landry was then allowed to seek a trade, and then he was released shortly thereafter. So the wide receiver depth is not as good as what you would hope it to be in Cleveland right now. So what's next for this Browns team? Currently, you have Chubb and Hunt. I'm surprised they did not have to give up Kareem Hunt in this trade. So he's still in the backfield. You got Cooper, you got Peoples-Jones as that field stretcher on the outside. And I mentioned Will Fuller is a guy here, but if you look at the rest of the free agency right now, there's not a whole lot to be getting excited about here. I mean, T.Y. Hilton, yeah, no thanks. I'll pass on that. We just watched Juju Smith-Schuster sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. So that wide receiver is getting thin. And we know Odell Beckham Jr., he ain't coming back to Cleveland, even for DeShaun Watson. So we'll see what the Browns do in terms of pass catchers, because I think they still need another guy opposite of Amari Cooper. No disrespect to Donovan Peoples-Jones, but he's not that guy. We all like to talk about what the AFC West has been doing and how they've been leveling up all offseason. And that's even the quarterback position. Look, 3 of the top 5 passers in terms of yardage are hosted out of that division. Mahomes, Herbert, Carr, all top 5 in passing. And now you've added Russell Wilson to that mix. They're coming to the Denver Broncos. But can we show a little respect for the AFC North? They're not too bad themselves. You got Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, DeShaun Watson, all under 26 years of age. So there's going to be some good football in that division for years to come. And there's Mitchell Trubisky. But, we're not going to get into that. Although, hey, I love Mitchell Trubisky moving forward. Sorry about the bad dad joke there. Now, what's the best way for me to put this? The AFC is loaded with young quarterbacks. The future of the AFC hinges on guys like Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. All these teams that we talked about, again, Buffalo, Los Angeles, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, they all have one thing that the Browns don't have now. And that's a future as far as draft capital is concerned. Now you have to hit on these picks. We understand that if you don't hit on these picks, they're absolutely useless. Let's be honest with that. We've also seen what the Rams have been able to do. Rams like, you know what? We don't need no stinking picks. And they've had success. They won a Super Bowl doing that. So I don't know if the Cleveland Browns are built right now to do the same thing that the Los Angeles Rams did. But hey, it's room for thought. But I mean, 3 first-round picks. That does not help your franchise moving forward. Yes, DeShaun Watson is a phenomenal talent if he becomes the DeShaun Watson that he once was, and if he's able to get on the field. Here's the best part about this all. DeShaun Watson's schedule next year, and the Cleveland Browns have them facing not only the Houston Texans, but he also gets to face the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, and the Carolina Panthers. Oh, karma is going to be sweet. That is some serious potential for a lot of fun, especially in the media. Now, we know Amari Cooper is probably thinking to himself, since he come to Cleveland here, he goes, you know what? DeShaun Watson, he's no Kirk Cousins, and I'm more than happy to be here, but there is going to be a little bit of a feeling out process. There's going to be backlash in Cleveland. How do the Browns navigate this throughout the offseason, heading into the season? Because I don't think they're built for this. I don't think you're going to handle it. And I think fans have every right to be upset about what the Cleveland Browns have done here right now. But hey, you know what? I've been wrong in the past. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel pretty strongly that this was not the right decision for the Cleveland Browns, especially at this time. With that being said, head over to fantasypoints.com, enter promo code Vipers22, get 10% off that subscription because that is the right move to be doing in the offseason. And we'll see you next time because there's plenty more trades and analysis and signings coming up here. And we will make sure to touch as many of those as possible.